Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the WealthTech Insider. I'm your host, Danni Legrand, and I'm very happy to be joined live in person by my co-host, Peter Hwan, in the office in Melbourne. Hey, Pete.
G'day, Danny. This feels weird.
This feels weird. I don't know where to look.
We're not used to looking at each other. I think we actually minimize our screens. We're actually not looking at each other on cameras. I think that's abundantly obvious.
Okay, let's try and make this.
We have spent way too much time working together over a camera and not face to face.
This feels so weird. All right, we'll do our best to make this not awkward. All right, so we're going to unpack your latest code in Capital, which we all know and love. Drops in our inbox every Friday morning, which is awesome. And this one is Breaking Up is Hard to Do, which I think was maybe two CNCs ago.
Yep.
So this is about the nightmare of cancelling Adobe as an example, and what it reveals really about how software companies, including advice tech vendors, treat their customers. And I guess the newsletter really struck a nerve, and it probably was struck a nerve with a lot of our listeners because it connects that frustration every practice owner has felt with sticky subscriptions and the broader question, I guess, of how advice technology vendors earn or extract their loyalty. So unpack this one for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything I write about. It tends to be what's pissed me off that week about something. So there's a few triggering moments for me. So one was definitely with Adobe. And I got to say, isn't Adobe one of those subscriptions that no one really knows why they have it, but we keep paying for it for some reason? And I think this is probably why its share price has been hammered so much in the last 6 months thanks to AI. But I was trying to just cancel licenses that we didn't really need. And I was in this endless loop of trying to cancel and going back to this one screen to another. And I need to be an admin portal and go back. And then I was just like, oh my God, why is this so hard? And if I contrast that with some other software solutions or providers we work with that just make it super easy to cancel.
Yeah.
And you go, and you know what's interesting about the ones that you cancel? I think you're more likely to go back to them. If it made it easy for you to leave, you're more likely to come back. And the reality is that quite often we cancel things, not because we hate the service or anything like that. It's just that we're not particularly using it at that time. And, I've had some recent experience, even our own business of where people have said, look, I really love what you do, but it's just not right for me right now because I need these things. And so one of the things that Aaron and I decided from the start was let's make it easy on, easy off. So make it easy for people to sign up to your service, but also easy to go away, knowing full well in our long careers we've had in this industry that we find our clients will be clients at different stages many times over many years. So it just doesn't feel right to me that you make it really hard to leave.
We've certainly found that, I think, in our consulting business too, where, we've sort of finished our consulting engagements, but quite often our consulting clients will come back to us at some point or another because something else has popped up. So, I certainly think that applies to product as well. It's obviously a business model, right? I mean, I guess the impetus there is don't leave.
Yeah.
Don't leave us.
I mean, but I think too many businesses have tried to create subscription models that don't prey on loyalty, but prey on apathy. And so I look at the gym business model in particular, which has been largely bought out by private equity. And I think they really want to make money on people who sign up for memberships and never come to the gym.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like a good deal to me.
No.
Like I'd rather someone who signs up and gets a lot of value out of my service. And that's a contract there. And I think the thing that really drives people up the wall is when they're signed up to an annual subscription and then the renewal comes through, but it comes through after the fact. Yeah. Thanks for signing up again for another 12 months.
Yeah.
So they fail to notify you 7 days in advance. Hey, this is coming up to give you some time. And I know why they don't do it because they don't want you lapsing. But then all you've really done is just made someone hate you for a further 12 months.
Yeah.
And they're going to churn off anyway, or they're going to try and get out of it that 7 days. So I just think there's some things that software companies particularly can do differently on that front, because otherwise I think you risk losing the relationship entirely.
And also getting bad referrals and people really talking about that experience. I was telling you, this is not advice related whatsoever, but I bought perfume off the internet because Jennifer Aniston said so. So I did, and it was great. And then 3 weeks later, I saw $80 come out of my account again because that's how much it cost. And I thought it'd been scanned originally. I was like, what is this? I don't know what this is. But it was that perfume again. And I had signed up to a subscription unbeknownst to me. I'm sure there was this is all my fault, looking more carefully, but it was hidden. I don't remember ever ticking a box that said I wanted to subscribe. So then I emailed them and I said, I don't want to subscribe. Give me my refund.
Yep.
And they said they would let me know, but they probably shipped it and it was probably not going to work out. And then I got my perfume and I never heard from them again.
Right.
So then I was really angry. So I put a bad review on Trustpilot. That'll show them.
But who would have, see, I never thought perfume would be a subscription business model.
No, but perfume lasts, I don't know about any of our listeners that wear perfume, but it lasts, a good, I don't know, year. I don't know.
I get longer. So I have some aftershave or perfume, whatever it's called, that I reckon I've been going on for a decade.
Yeah. Maybe chunk that in the bin. Yeah.
Well, it seems to last. I don't know, but yeah, a subscription business model. So we try to make everything a subscription business model. Men's underwear subscription model. We'll send you something every 10 days. Amazon do it on their if you subscribe to this, we'll make it a thing.
Yeah.
So it's just all the subscriptions are driving us a little bit crazy. So I think I did rate. This is my batting order of the hardest things to do. So cancelling a Fitness First subscription was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So most people would know Fitness First. I literally had to lie. I felt I'm not a liar. And I just had to basically make up a big story that I was moving overseas to get out of the thing because they were making it so hard. I couldn't go online, couldn't cancel. I had to go visit someone face to face. And then they tried to wheel me to some other room.
Did they bring out like a, real gym buff people?
Well, yeah, no, judging me, going, look, maybe you should keep it. But it was sort of like, so it just shouldn't be this hard. So I never want to subscribe to one of those things again. Foxtel, I think people had all these subscription things as well. You go into the retention queue. And here's the thing that really sort of, I think should frustrate people even more. So if you're going to cancel a service and the immediate response is, we'll give it to you for half price for 6 months. You're basically telling the user, we only care about you when we cancel, and we're going to offer you something for half the price and charge our loyal customers even more.
Yeah,
hypothetically, I just think it sends all the wrong signals.
Yeah.
Have you found in our advice tech world that retention practices, or you're hearing much about what people do when people try to cancel their advice tech subscriptions?
Well, quite often they can't, right? Because they've signed up for a 12-month contract or whatever, with traditional advice technology. But I think this is very common, and they have to wait another 6 months before they cancel something that's not giving them any value whatsoever. So I think this is a very real thing. But I just wanted to bring it back to some real sentiment, I guess, it happens in our industry. This is nerding out again on our technology health check data.
Yep.
So we've got CRM switching intent here. So only 17% of advice firms plan to move CRMs in the next 12 months, and 39% are saying maybe. CRM support satisfaction, 49% say it could be better, 24% say a flat no. And so that's 73% that are not fully happy with their CRM. 81% don't run an RFP when choosing their technology provider, and 37% don't run due diligence on new vendors either. So, you can see why all of this frustration and angst happens. If all of these things are happening in the background, then you sign for something, then you can't cancel it. Yeah. That's hard for a business, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And particularly when we make things like easy. And so this concept of easy on, easy off, it's got to work in both directions. So yes, make it easy to sign up, give people trials. I'm not a huge fan of trials. I'll be honest with you. I don't think trials work. I think they attract the wrong customer and the wrong buy-in on onboarding, as which is the thing. Anyone that runs a proper software business should tell you that it usually takes about 6 months to break even or a new customer. We find that with advice design, the effort we go to put in a customer, get them trained. So it's actually a lot better than, rather than offer a free trial, try and get the user, make sure the user's a good fit before you even bother onboarding them. Because otherwise you're just basically setting yourself up for failure down the track. The user's going to leave and not be happy anyway. But critically easy off. So, so for our business, we basically, we had someone cancel the other day. Actually, just literally put a message in our chat, and we had them offboarded in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And a note saying, "Thanks so much for trying us." It just said they weren't using it, and that's fine. But I'd love to have them back when it's the times where and make it easy for them to leave. So I just think in a really small industry like ours, you've got to operate that way. And isn't it funny actually now? I think we're so prepared for cancelling to be such an ordeal, and it drives anxiety in us that actually, if you do make it easy on a customer, it's a differentiator. Like people go, "Oh, that's actually pretty easy."
Yeah.
And they're more likely to feel better.
Yeah.
I would have thought.
Yeah.
Actually, they've already made their mind up. You're not going to change their mind.
No.
Anyway.
And it's a gesture of goodwill too,
Yep.
that sort of serves well into the future if they're talking to their peers and their colleagues about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the easy on, easy off philosophy, I guess. And you're a big 37 Signals fan. So tell us about the Basecamp pay approach to cancellation and pricing.
Yeah, sure. So, I did mention this in the article. So I've been a long follower of a company called 37 Signals. So, and Aaron, our colleague, has as well. So they've written a number of books, which I encourage anyone to read. Actually, even if you're not a software person, you should read them. So they actually wrote the first book on remote work about 15 years ago. They 37 Signals is a fully remote company like Finura, about how you can actually run a business in a really remote way. And they've also written a number of books on, and some of them are free, actually, download them on their website about how they run their company. And so their whole philosophy, they built a project management software called Basecamp, which is still used today. They completely bootstrapped their business. They've never listed, they've never taken any venture capital. Good on them. It's amazing. And they've got this really successful company called Basecamp. And so what they effectively do is they basically they basically say to users, come on board anytime. They're a little unique. They'll let you do a trial without even having a credit card down, which is pretty unusual. So they really believe in their product, and you can cancel at any time. The other thing they've done too is they lock in price for life. So once you signed up to the product, even if they change their price down the track, whatever price you've signed up for is what you pay forever. Okay. Which is really interesting as well. So, but their whole philosophy was definitely around offering guilt-free cancellation, really. And so they go to another level. They not only let you cancel, they'll actually give you all your data back in a really easy to use format as well.
That's interesting
which
too.
I thought you might find interesting.
Yeah, I think that that's another frustrating thing, isn't it? You've gone through this process to cancel, which possibly has been tricky. Then you want your data to move, assuming you're migrating to another CRM or whatever.
Yep.
How hard is that? How many messes have we seen? How many delays?
Yep.
Do you remember? I haven't done actual data migration for a little while, but it was 8 weeks to migrate data from one CRM to another. That's 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months running parallel systems, 2 months with all of that change, all of that, frustration happening in the firm.
Totally.
It doesn't seem right, does it?
I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, I think if you're running a software company, you're not going to make offboarding the highest priority experience in your model. But there's a lot to be said about leaving a good taste in people's mouths when they leave. And I think I would say, I don't know, but I think there's very few companies in our sector that do this well.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think anyone does it well.
No.
From our perspective. So I think for that, so there's a number of aspects in it, but my big thing is, as companies, we just spend so much money trying to attract users, and I've made my point pretty clear on how much money we spend on conferences and advertising and nonsense in our industry, and I just do wonder, are we missing a bit of a trick here that, even if a customer cancels, there's a really important distinction there. Is that person going to be a good leader? Like an employee, if an employee resigns, you can treat them like shit and kick them out the door.
Yeah.
Or you can say, you know what, it's been great, and we just want to make sure we part ways in a great way.
Yeah.
You speak well of our business in the future. So I think I'd love to see companies spend a little less time on just trying to attract new users and maybe think about what happens when they leave.
Yeah. I think going back to our scorecard data as well, we've got 49% that don't have a comprehensive understanding of their own tech stack. So they couldn't switch even if they wanted to, really, with those stats. And 33% have zero integrations. So their data's siloed, stuck. That's quite a conundrum to be in.
Yeah. And look, I do think this will change though. So, I do believe that now that we are transitioning, many software integrations the next few years are transitioning from APIs to now AI-driven MCPs, which is basically the ability for AI to go and interrogate data in different systems. This is going to expose software companies, quite frankly, that do not, the software companies, in my opinion, that are just trying to, batten down the hatches and hoard the data. I think their days are numbered. Because AI is going to be extremely efficient at going in and extracting the data that the customer needs to leave with that stated intent. So, be careful if that's your number one strategy, protecting your data. That's not a good business model.
It's funny, actually. I've seen a couple of our clients now exporting data out of their, traditional CRM and using Copilot or AI within Excel to then interrogate that data and do the stuff that we would hope that the CRM start, doing with AI.
And in reality, the thing about our industry, like we think we have big data problems in our industry, and we do, but ultimately we have a pretty consistent set of data that we need to track across our client bases. Compared to other global industries that are tracking millions and billions of data points, we've got this pretty narrow issue to solve. So there is AI that is working in those industries with much more complex data issues. It will find our industry a dog, in my opinion. This stuff as well.
So every business is a referral business. You referenced David Heinemeier Hanson's point. So every business is a referral business, and at the moment a customer cancels is the moment that determines whether they're a referrer, a boomerang, or a detractor. Let's talk us through that.
So there's two business partners in 37 Signals, Jason Freed, who's the big one on the easy on, easy off, and David Heinemeier, who I think he's Dutch. So, but you should watch their podcast. Actually, it's great. They talk about all these business issues all the time. But he is absolutely a big one on this this idea that every business is in the referral business. It doesn't matter whether you're a multi-trillion-dollar company, you are basically driving on referrals. And so his whole idea was that moment of cancellation is actually the critical juncture they find in the referrals. And their data actually suggests that Basecamp has had so many of their loyal users who tried them out the first couple of years and came back to them 3 or 4 years later. They looked at other things. Now, they never would have come back if they made it easy for them to leave. So I'm a huge fan of the way they go about things, the way they talk about the way they promote their service. And the other one that is really important they spoke about that I think our industry massively fails on is pricing of software. So they have Basecamp has an extremely transparent pricing structure. Something I'm quite passionate about is having transparent pricing. And so what they have done is they have always honoured their pricing agreements. They have it on their website. There's no special deals. There's no coupons. There's no nothing. Nothing drives you up the wall more. Finding out that someone else is using the same service and paying less. And you can't explain why. It just pisses people off. And yet our industry, I could think you could draw, you'd have this massive card of different pricing arrangements and things in place for no damn reason. But really no logical reason other than we just did a deal. And I think this simplicity in that, and that's part of the marketing too. You could be really happy with the product, but if you, like your perfume, if you found out that I bought that perfume, not that I would buy this perfume, but you never know. But let's say, and I paid only half what you paid because I had a special code. And now I'm not, doesn't matter to me, but you're pissed off or more pissed off. As well.
Definitely.
So there's holiday on coupon codes and discounting arrangements and all the other deals. I think the sooner we get rid of that better.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you think that is obviously discounting comes in because you think that's going to attract your customers and that's going to keep them and give you give good word of mouth and all that sort of stuff. But it can have the opposite effect.
And look, we, I don't want to talk about our software business. We've just gone through that. We just put in some new pricing for larger practices who, and one of them's your client, Danni, and we had to write to some the other day and say your price is dropping because it's new tiering we're putting in across all our practices. So their price drops from this month.
How good is that?
So it's quite nice actually now to write to customers and saying we've put a new pricing model in place for all our new customers and we're retrograding it to all our existing ones as well. There's other benefits too. If customers feel like their loyalty is being paid back to an extent because of your growth, then I think that's a win too. So I don't know. I sort of feel if you can think a bit more long term about this stuff, not necessarily build all these big retention teams, focus on retention and just make sure your product's great, you'll never have a problem finding clients.
How much does your heart sink when you try and cancel something and they say, we're just going to put you through to the retention team?
Well, actually, my little trick is when I've got a problem with like Telstra or someone, I always say I'm cancelling and I get straight through.
Yeah.
I don't have to. So if I just want support, so even if I don't really want to cancel, I'll just say I'm cancelling.
Yeah.
So I immediately get someone.
That's the tip of the day.
But also like, but there are some other things you can do that I think are quite cool. So, I mean, we don't do this, but I think it's not a bad idea. You know, Audible on Amazon. So they have a pause feature now, which is quite good. So rather than cancel, you just pause it. I have used that quite a bit where I've just got so many audiobooks I just haven't even got to.
Yeah.
And rather than keep paying, they say, hey, would you like to cancel pause for 6 months?
Yeah.
I've done that quite a bit.
Yeah.
One of the members of the Fedora team, she's worked out that if you just go to cancel every 3 months, you automatically get 50% off all the time. So she's in this never-ending loop of getting a deal.
I have taken that advice.
More power to her. Exploit the weaknesses. I'm sure Amazon can deal with it. But that for me is another good feature. So rather than lose the customer altogether, give them the pause option, and maybe there's something there for us to think about too. So
I think this is all really relevant for practice owners listening as well. It's not just tech buyers, there's any kind of service providers. And how easy is it for a financial planning client to leave a business? Are they stuck into ongoing agreements? You know, is that easy for them to offboard? We're making it straightforward for them to do that. That experience really matters.
We hear this about dealer groups quite often too. When dealer groups make it hard for advisors to leave, guess what happens? Those advisors tell everybody, don't sign up to that dealer group.
Yeah.
Like your life a nightmare.
That's right. That word gets too small of an industry to have that.
Yeah, 100%. So so that's the message. Make breaking up easy. Be a good breaker-upper.
Amicable breaker-upper. So any practical tips?
I just think, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're an advisor yourself or you're running a software business or whatever. Just have to think about what you do to retain customers. Is it structured? Is it thoughtful? Or is it reactive? And I think quite often, you know, in our business, I think when we first started, we were a little reactive when a customer wanted to cancel and we didn't really have a thought process about it.
No.
And so I think of it, and I would ideally get someone a little external, you know, marketing person, someone with that experience to look at it objectively.
Yeah.
Because look, at the end of the day, no one likes hearing that your service is not needed anymore. It does, you know, hurt a bit. It hurts a bit if you care, but you've got to understand it's not always about you.
Yeah.
And so look at it objectively, think of it as a marketing exercise, and think backwards. Think, what can I do out of this? This person's made their mind up. So what can I do in this process to make them tell everybody how good it was to leave us?
Yeah. My tip is audit your vendor relationships. I think just this is part of your due diligence, which, you know, most of us aren't doing very well at the moment when it comes to choosing technology. So audit, check what those exit terms look like. You know, what are you actually signing? Is it going to be easy for you to go away if it's not really working for you?
Do you find that comes up a lot? Do people really interrogate that, or are they so in love with the sales process they tend to?
Yes, I think I don't know what it is with our industry, but we really fall in love with the demo and the sales process. We've got some great people out there that are doing some good things, but I think we might be looking at it the wrong way around from a pragmatic perspective.
Yeah, I've always saw it because even we always get asked, both in our services business and our software business, can we talk to existing customers, which we're always really happy to do. And of course, we always introduce them to the really happy people. But I have thought,
which is
maybe counterintuitively, maybe I should introduce you to some people who have cancelled.
Yeah.
And just so you can tell, hey, it wasn't right for them, but hopefully they'll tell you that we were really good to deal with on the way out the door.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be a little slightly different way of doing things with prospects. Yeah.
Love it. Any ideas on what you're talking about next?
Yes. So actually there was we had another white paper release this week. I love a white paper. This is actually a really good one. So the Financial Services Council done some work with another consulting firm, Borrowme Consulting and Digital Advice. I am a little fed up about a number of papers we write about digital advice and not actually implementing any of it. But
do I have to read it?
You don't have to read this one. I'll give you the too long didn't read version if you like. But I think awesome paper. I think everyone should actually read this one. I do really respect some of the work that's been done here, but unfortunately we've got this sort of 45-page, which is some 45-page document, which basically says that quite simply, in my opinion, what we're saying and what we do are two different things in our industry. We're talking a lot about the advice gap and what we need to do, but no one's doing anything. No one's spending any money.
Implementing things.
Implementing, and even some of the work that I've sort of been seen from the sidelines on occasion, it all comes down to how much is this going to cost. And until, quite simply, when it comes to big superannuation, until people decide that where we need to spend a little bit less on sponsorships and a little bit more on advice, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, agreed. All right, thanks, Pete. It's been great to join you in person in this lovely office with this beautiful view.
Yes, Melbourne. We are looking over the Yarra, and it is a cloudy Melbourne day, but that's okay. That's what you expect.
Very nice. And thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next time.